After an almost week-long delay, Zandile Khumalo, who was seeking a ban of all audio and visual recordings of her testimony, took to the stand in the Senzo Meyiwa trial. She's the sister of Meyiwa's then singer girlfriend, Kelly Khumalo. 5 people are on trial for the murder of the football star at Kelly Khumalo's home in Vosloorus, Ekurhuleni, in 2014. Now, for more on this matter, we are now joined by legal analyst Nthabiseng Dubazana, and she joins us via our phone line. Nthabiseng, thank you so much for joining us here on the late edition. Of course, there were numerous delays in seeing that testimony finally of Zandile Khumalo, and she has indeed now taken to the stand. What do you make of the first few remarks or the evidence she has presented before the court today?
So it seems from the evidence that she's presented, she is trying to basically relay to the court what she remembers and to try and fit in with what has been put on the record already. But in the manner in which she seems to have relayed the information, it is as if to try and for lack of a better term, cover herself from whatever had transpired from the day in question. I don't know if I'm audible. I'm getting a bit of feedback. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. You can continue. We can hear you perfectly clear.
Okay, all right. So sorry about that. So when we even listened to when she was asked to see if she can identify the accused persons in the dock, and then breaking down and crying, and then over and above that, blaming them for the kind of life that they are now leading, that they've ruined the Khumalo family's life as a result, and being cautioned by Judge Maumela on not doing stuff like that, because already as it means that she's, in a manner of speaking, tanking the state's case, and therefore we're not going to be able to get from her the kind of information that is required if she's going to continue in making such remarks and while she's getting all emotional.
And staying with those remarks in Nthabiseng, which we heard today, what do you make of them specifically, especially at a time where she didn't want this testimony to be heard by the public or for it to be broadcast? What does it say, especially when it comes to what many South Africans would want to know in terms of what happened on that fateful day?
It prevents the state from trying to get to solicit information from her, like I was saying, because the way in which examination in chief is conducted is a question and answer kind of basis, and if you overindulge an answer or give too much information that is not necessary at the time, it ends up working to your detriment when it comes to cross-examination, because I can guarantee that the defense attorneys are going to pounce on this, because they're going to ask, how have they ruined your life? What did they do? How did they penetrate the family to that extent, etc., etc.? So it should have been a situation where the state at that moment interjects and let the court adjourn so that the witness can, pull herself together, and then we can continue where we left off. But this was allowed to continue, and unfortunately it forms part of the record. It can't be scrapped, and when it comes to cross-examination, it's going to lead the state into a world of trouble going forward.
And what was also quite striking in that testimony is her speaking directly to the accused. But at the same time, and Nthabiseng, if I can jog your memory a bit, we know that Zandi also did an interview where in that interview she had said that, she didn't notice, those suspects who came into the home because they were wearing masks. But this time around, she was able to say, specifically pointing out to 2 of the witnesses. What do you say about those contradictory statements, one in an interview, but now also giving that evidence where she was able to point out the witnesses?
When it comes to cross-examination, that is going to bite her. And I say this because, remember, the defense attorneys are going to not only rely on whatever she's saying in court today, which is the viva voce evidence. They're going to rely on the statement that she made in the docket. And remember, part of the docket content that was released or given to the defense attorneys includes the second docket wherein she is an accused person. So it's going to be those three statements, viva voce, the one she made for the docket before the court, and the one she made in the docket where she's an accused person, and the statement that she has made already in the public eye. So she's going to be faced with all of these things, and she will need to explain to the court which of these statements that she has made thus far should the court take into consideration. And if she says, for example, take the one that I'm saying here in court, then we're going to say the other statements that were made under oath, which are now going to be handed in as evidence. Are you now saying that you were lying under oath? Now you should take your viva voce evidence instead. So it will be interesting to see how the defense is going to articulate and deal with that aspect.
And, coming to further expectations when it comes to Zandi's testimony, I mean, one would say that how long can we expect her to take to the witness stand, especially considering, how many people have been accused in this matter?
Considering how today went, I think we're looking at a situation where the evidence in chief on its own is going to take some time, and then thereafter we're going to look at each defense attorney, obviously cross-examining the witness and trying to solicit the kind of information that I'm assuming that they're going to do, like I just mentioned now earlier. So we're looking at her probably being on the stand between 2 to 3 days, but if she continues breaking down and kind of going off script, for lack of a better term, then we might find ourselves sitting with one witness for over a week.
All right, then. Thank you very much. That is indeed Nthabiseng Dubazana, the legal analyst there, also then just giving us her insight in terms of the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial.